Hey guys, it's your girl Tori, and we are now welcoming in part 3 of The Leader. This is The Leader part 3. God will not allow me to be moved from this. So he is raising up leaders. And this is a great thing because if you read in Ephesians, it says we wrestle against not flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness in this world, meaning in this world, rulers. So God has to raise his people up in leadership position and make them rulers of this world to combat those spiritual forces. This is a good thing. I'm with it. I love it. And I'm just sitting back and allowing the Lord to just use me in this moment because I don't know who exactly this leadership discussion is supposed to be for. But if you like it, then you know this message is for you. I don't need a whole crowd. God sends to me 5 people and the message is for them, then it's for them. I take it how it is. I'm just happy and blessed to be speaking the word when he gives it to me. So today we're reading Ezra. If you are in a leadership position, please listen and listen to my other videos as well. Ezra chapter 5. Then the prophets Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, even unto them. Then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. And with them were the prophets of God helping them. This is a time where you have to believe you are enough. You have to believe that you was made in his likeness and in his image, and that nothing will deter you from doing what God have called you to. You see, in the Bible, they give a story about a man who was blind. Jesus' disciples asked him, who sinned? Why is this man blind from birth? Who sinned? Was it his mother? Was it his father? Who sinned? Or did he sin? And Jesus said, neither. This is so that the works of God could be manifested through him. As he began to do a miracle, I want to read from it. I'm coming from John chapter 9, when Jesus heals a blind man. It says, Jesus answered, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but the works of God should be manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me. While it is day, the night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Okay, so what I love about this is his own disciples did not know what Jesus was doing. They didn't even know why was this man in this position. A lot of times people ain't gonna know why you even in your position, but that's okay. Do you, because it says, Jesus said, I am the light of this world, meaning you are made in his likeness and in his image. You are the light of the world. When Jesus comes to you, you grab hold to the opportunity. You see, a lot of people are confused with the title leader. There are 2 different ways you can categorize leadership. You would have a positional leader with a title, and then you would have a true leader, someone who has shown the ability and the skill set already. There's all types of people that are in the job base that are managers because somebody has given them the title, but yet they still don't know how to manage because it's not within them. Positional leading, you will have a title, but most of the time, if you have that title, you cannot live up to the expectations in which is set before you. Whereas if you have the qualities already shown and the skill set that's already been brought upon, there's no expectation of you because you have already set the bar, and so people know and receive what you are doing because you have already done it. Don't get confused with the title. True leadership is based on the opportunity to become a leader by showing skill set, building relationships. This is how you can be attributed into leadership. And when Jesus comes to you, when you hold on tight to that, that pushes you and propels you into your next level. A lot of people is scared to move on to that next level. This is not a time where you have to be scared, because Jesus let you know, with me, anything is possible. But you have to believe it. You have to believe that you can move forward. You have to do the works through faith. This man was blind, and this was his assignment. They didn't even know that this was the assignment by God to catapult him into leadership. Verse 6. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and anointed his eyes of the blind man with clay. It says, and he said, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He needed to remember who he was. You see, he forgot who he was because people condemned him of sin when he came out the womb. His mind wasn't even clear to know that he was sent. He knew you before you was in your mother's womb. And when you came out, he gave you the purpose. He gave everyone purpose. You didn't come on this world for nothing. From the day you are born, you are sent here on this earth with a purpose. But he came out blind, so people already confused him to cripple him, to make him believe he's sinned. You see, this man was made a leader by Jesus to reprove the wicked rulers, to reprove the Pharisees and the Sadducees. This is what Jesus allowed him to do by letting him understand that there was no sin amongst him. A lot of people get confused with the word sin. Sin means to miss the mark. The Pharisees and the Sadducees missed the mark to know that the kingdom is established by faith. Don't allow people to cripple you with their hypocritical thoughts on your progression. Let's continue. He went his way, therefore, and washed and came seeing. The neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he. He got his confidence back. He got his confidence back. He said, I am he. I know that I was sent. I know you better, when you walk into a meeting, when you walk into your purpose, you better know that you were sent from the Most High. You ain't got time to play around with people trying to discourage you from your purpose in which He has called you to. I ain't got time to play nice with you anymore. I'm on a mission. Therefore they said unto him, how were thine eyes opened? He answered them and said, a man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said unto me, go into the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said unto him, where is he? He said, I know not. Y'all gotta get this. The Pharisees were so busy searching for him. They were reading the Bible, trying to figure this Jesus out. They were so busy. See, Jesus said, you search for me in scriptures, thinking that you will have eternal life. And these are which that testify of me. But you are not willing to come to me so that you can have life. They couldn't even accept the miracle that was right in front of their eyes. You see how quickly the table turned? They considered this man a beggar and blind. Yet, they were blind and asking this man, where is Jesus? Begging him to tell us where Jesus is. The tables turned quickly. They were now blind. I hope y'all got that. God is turning over the table. God is flipping tables for you, baby. Because it was no longer about Jesus. It was no longer about Jesus. This was about others. This was all about others. You see, Jesus already warned his disciples, but he didn't tell the Pharisees and Sadducees. There was no reason to tell them, but he warned his disciples ahead of time. He said, I gotta go. I have to, he said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. Jesus knew that his time would be shut down. Jesus knew that he was on time constraint. And this is why he did what he did at the beginning. He healed them. He led them. He opened their eyes for his disciples to see. But he knew it was a time where that he had to go, because they would no longer see him in the light in which they saw him, but in a different dimension. Ooh, I hope you got that. In a different dimension. The shift. I spoke about that a while ago, how it was a shift. At different points in times, there are different things that God calls you to. He raises up a standard. Jesus first, he came, he set the miracles, he set the bar. Now, he set the bar and he taught. Now, he would become a living sacrifice. He would resurrect, and he would be seen in a new dimension, in a new light, a new calling higher. Jesus is calling you higher, far above your imagination. far above your imagination. And that's what the disciples didn't understand either. They didn't understand it because it was over their heads. Jesus kept warning them and telling them over and over and over again, but they couldn't understand. Let's get back into the story. Verse 13. They brought to the Pharisees him aforetime was blind. So they brought him to the Pharisees. Okay, so now he moved up a level, because first, he's not begging. That's one. Two, he's in front of the Pharisees. These are people that are considered high rank and title. But the opportunity and the positioning in which God has placed him in, he is now amongst people with the titles. He's in the room because he got his confidence back and he knew who he was. He's in the room. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. They mention the Sabbath because this is an unusual occurrence. The Sabbath day, you're not supposed to heal anybody. You're not supposed to make a movement or whatever the traditional thing is. But he ain't traditional. And in the book of Ezra, I'm going to go back to Ezra. They hated on the people and the temple because they didn't follow their traditions. They didn't follow their customs. They said, listen, you're going to take money out of my hands. So this is why they told Ezra and them, they went to the kings like, listen, the king, they're going to take money out your hand. Don't allow them to build this temple. But God was with them. Ain't nothing that you gonna do is gonna seem ordinary when you step into walking with the Lord. It's not gonna seem ordinary. So people may look at you and try to come up against you, but if God be for you, man, ooh, child. I'm going to continue reading. Verse 15. Then again, the Pharisee also asked him, how had he received his sight? He said unto them, he put clay upon my eyes, and I washed, and do see. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not a man of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division amongst them. This is what true leadership is. The positioning, it's the relationship. Jesus has already, this is the leader at hand. Jesus has already established his miracles, his skills, in which it can no longer be contained. So those who want to come against him, it doesn't even matter. Because he's already established. He already has a following. He already has done miracles. He's already done the skills. He has already entered into a dimension in which is unbearable by the Pharisees. It's over. And now he's bringing this blind man. This is the blind man's assignment. You see, like I said, it was no longer about Jesus. Jesus was bringing leadership unto others. It was no longer about him. Jesus already knew that he was the Son of God. He just wanted to make sure his disciples knew that he was the Son of God and that they could do all things, that they can do greater works. He told them that they can do greater works and greater things that you shall do. You see, Jesus, being the mastermind of being the master leader, he knew how to recruit people. Leaders, listen up, because it's going to be your turn where you have to recruit people. And this is how you are going to look for your people. And what I want to say is, you may say, how can this blind man be a leader? He was a leader in his assignment. Everybody's assignment is different. He wasn't one of the 12 disciples who are considered the leader. And even with that, Peter was the stone. He was the head. It's different levels to this. And everyone is a leader in their own right when you look at the attributes. And this is what Jesus did. Jesus, he looked at the attributes of chemistry. He looks at the heart. Is it compatible with my vision that I'm moving into? He looked at their capacity. What are they able to withhold? How much can they take? And 3, their contribution. And this is the greatest one of all, because he's using the qualities in which this person possess and able to propel himself as well as the person that is being recruited. These are things that you have to look for when recruiting people. And this is why Jesus chose this man. Jesus chose this man because he wasn't the typical, just the normal blind man. He was born blind with the stigma of sin attached to him. You see, Jesus had healed many a people and told them to go and don't sin no more. But this man never sinned. He gave a new testimony on sin. He reproved the Pharisees. And let me show you how. I'm going to continue reading. Verse 24. Then again called the man that was blind and said unto him, Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear. Whereas, would you hear it again? Will ye also be his disciples? I told you before, he said, Jesus told you, look for me in the scriptures instead of coming to me. This man himself is speaking. This is speaking to them. Are you going to be his disciples? Or are you going to go to him and try to receive some healing? Because this man is healing. You call him a sinner. You told me I was a sinner. This is what's going on. I love it. Oh man, they call Jesus a sinner. They saying everybody's saying everybody's a sinner. When you got to take the speckle out of your own eye, because everyone sins. It's nobody holier than thou. Yes, I fast. Yes, I pray every morning. Yes, I do all these, but yet I still fall short. And once you understand that and realize and take accountability for your actions and just try to change and move forward and not stay stuck in it. God, help me with this. God, it tickled me so much. He said, give God the praise, not even knowing that that they were actually in the vicinity of the living God and didn't even know it. All right, I'm gonna move on. Okay, so verse 28. They reviled him and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. We know that God spoke unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not whence he is. The man answered them and said unto them, why, herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he have opened my eyes. He said, this is a marvelous thing. You know, he put the Pharisees in his place. Jesus didn't even have to be there. And that's what, as a leader, that's where you want to be, where you don't even have to be there, but you sent your people out, your team out to handle it, and they can handle it because you knew that they had the capacity to handle it. You knew, like, this is what leadership is about. Greater works you should do. God, he's so good. It says, now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? He killed it again. This man killed it again. Let me tell you how he killed it. Because they tried to put Jesus down to just as a worshiper. But nah. Jesus healed. He touched. He spoke and pierced people. Inspired things in them that they never even knew that they had. Jesus changed lives. You can't just say that's nothing. He changed lives. Verse 33. The man continued to say, if this man were not of God, he could do nothing. They answered and said unto him, thou wast altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? And they cast him out. You see this? Jesus did his job as the leader. He made this man a new position and speaking for him. Jesus didn't have to be there. Speaking for him and taught the Pharisees. If that's not a leader in the making, this man was a leader in the making. He came out with, he taught them witty. He went up against Pharisees and Sadducees. This is a leader to the point where I'm talking about him now. I don't even see his name, but he was a leader. Understand your assignment and what leadership position you carry, and understand that as a position, understand that you're more than that, and people are more, and everyone can use their best qualities to benefit at whole. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I was blessed by this. I hope you were blessed by this. I'm out. I love you guys. Later.